our teachers should step into the role played by Lord Krishna and become great mentors.
And many of them are even questioning, why do I need a degree?
The first thing is to develop the ability to ask questions. Wherever human empathy is required, human care is required, human judgment is required, no algorithm can solve.
And good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start by thanking Prashantji and Manav Rachna Institution for giving me this great opportunity to be on stage with a legend, with a visionary. And it's my privilege that I'm going to be here doing the easier part of it, which is asking questions. And we have somebody who has been a brilliant student to begin with, has been a great researcher in an area that is even now emerging, but during the days when he was doing it was absolutely one of the most cutting edge kind of stuff. And he has the number of papers that you have released in the academic side, but that's not all. He's also been a leader of institutions, right? From an academician, somebody who's not done just papers but also patents, and to be the leader of some of the best institutions in the country, and then also to be a regulator at the full cycle, sir. So privileged to be here with you.
Thank you.
Let me start by saying what got us here doesn't seem to be taking us there. The future looks very different, and maybe I have more of the AI summit that happened now, and suddenly I start to think everything is going to change.
Okay.
And particularly in education, I see more and more in my profession, I keep meeting a lot of students, and many of them are even questioning, why do I need a degree? Is it even required to go to traditional institutions and get a degree? So I'm kind of scared. Even the institutions are at threat in a manner of speaking.
Right.
And the core for educational institutions have been faculty. And in fact, whenever I look at all these changes, my heart goes out to them because they are the most affected, but I don't know if they are recognized as much for it. For example, at some point of time, they were the custodian of knowledge. I remember, you have anything, you go to the teacher and the teacher will have everything for you. Today, with the information age, everything is available for everybody. And the teacher is now at a stage where he or she needs to be more a facilitator, somebody who can guide his students, mentor, with no trailing for that has happened. So in the light of, when we're talking about performance evaluation, performance management, talent and availability and other stuff, wherein the larger ecosystem is going through such a big change and help is not available for the faculty there, what in your view is future looking at? Particularly in the angle of the leadership that needs to take cognizance of it and bring about the change, and the role of teacher in building the future leaders for the country, because if there is anything that could take India to the next stage, it is human resources and the right kind of human resources. And in my view, it's a huge responsibility on the teachers and the institutions for doing that. What is your take on the change and the role of teacher in that, sir?
Right. His short name also is Nana. Let me also call him Nana. You began by saying that you have assumed the easier role in this conversation, and you said asking questions is the easiest part. Actually, I beg to differ there. Asking the right questions is the most difficult thing. Just to give you, most of the innovations and scientific discoveries have come only because people have asked questions. I'll give you an example. Einstein, since his childhood days, he was perplexed by a paradox. The paradox is this: if there is a light beam, and if I travel along the light beam at the speed of light, how will this light beam look like? Right? It should look like a standing stationary wave, oscillating wave. But we also know that light is energy. It is emitted in packets, right? And the light behavior is very well explained by the Maxwell's equations. But how do you explain this real behavior? right? This was the paradox Einstein faced, and he asked the questions, right questions, and that is why today we have a better understanding of the concept of time itself, right? So now, having said that, when we look when we look at the universities, education, teachers' role, and so on, I think we need to take a holistic view. Sometimes we tend to look at them in silos as unconnected parts of the same system. Today, one of the biggest questions that all of us are staring at is how can we build a future for all of us that is sustainable, healthy, secure, and peaceful. And creating this future is a challenge because of so many things that are happening in the world. Be it climate change, be it the geopolitical changes that happen, and the challenges of the scale at which we have to address issues in a country like ours, which is home to nearly 18% of the global population. So, how do we ensure that all of us we take care of each other, and how do we ensure that there is inclusivity in everything that we do? How do we ensure that socially, economically, and culturally our country develops and becomes a Vikasit Bharat, right? The goal that we have set for ourselves by 2047. This is from the perspective of our country. And any solutions that we bring within our own country for our own population, as our Honorable Prime Minister has said, they can also become a template for solving the global problems. So now for all this, the core mechanism for achieving this is educating our younger people and ensuring that not only the younger people but other segments of the population also are involved in lifelong learning, so that we can participate in multiple economic activities and then ensure that our country progresses. Now, you have actually bunched together many questions in your one single question. Now let us look at, you also brought in the recent AI summit that has taken place, and the way India is now trying to become a leader in AI, especially from the global south perspective, right? Now, technology evolution is a constant thing. It keeps happening. As a professor of electrical engineering during the last several decades, I have seen how several technologies have come and influenced our lives. And I have also seen, as a former chairman of University Grants Commission, how reforms can be implemented or they can fail depending on the institutional capacity and the readiness of our institutions to adapt to the newer things. Now, having said that, let me focus on a couple of things. One is the newer technologies such as AI. Now, the reforms that we want to bring in our educational system, will they prepare our students just to become consumers of newer technologies that are coming, such as AI, or builders of AI technology with judgment? So this is the challenge that we have in front of us, and especially in the AI era, there are three spheres which are going to be very seriously affected. One is knowledge itself, because today there is so much of information. The challenge for us is how to validate that information and convert that into meaningful knowledge. And once it becomes meaningful knowledge, how do you use this knowledge to guide our actions and judgment? So in order to do that, the first thing is to develop the ability to ask questions, to critically think and explain things. Only then we can become part of this knowledge ecosystem. Prompt engineering, of course, is one of the skills that all of us have to develop in order to extract the right information. But the biggest challenge for is how to question, how to validate, and how to explain things. So this is where in the knowledge sphere, a lot of changes are going to come. And then in the workplace, how do we prepare our younger people to the workplace in the current situation, constantly evolving situation? Because in the workplace, very quickly, the routine tasks will be automated, and all of us will be required to focus on higher order skills. Higher order skills such as creativity, such as ethical reasoning, ability to work in teams, and then questioning, right? So some of these things had to be adopted by us in order to be successful in the workplace. And the third one is power structures themselves are going to be seriously affected. Today, only those societies, those countries which have a command over computing, data, and models, they are going to shape the markets and the culture of our society. So therefore, it is very important for us to ensure that we reform our educational system to prepare our younger people for this. And one last thing I would like to add here, and we will further discuss as our discussion continues, is about the role of teachers. There is one great example for us for how a teacher should function. Right in the middle of Mahabharat war, when Arjuna was in despair and he has down his weapons and he says, "How can I fight?" Lord Krishna, he discusses with them, and today we know that as Bhagavad Gita. And at the end of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, "Arjuna, I have told you whatever you are required to know, but now it is up to you to decide what you want to do." That is what is called the true mentorship. So today, our teachers should step into the role played by Lord Krishna and become great mentors.
Well said, sir. Big round of absolutely very well said, sir. Krishna didn't pick up the weapon. He didn't, fire a single arrow, and the glory is always going to Arjuna. But the force behind that, and that's the role of teachers. So, sir, my earlier question, the role of teachers, the responsibility of teachers has only increased.
Mm-hmm.
There are many who've been saying the role of teachers has diminished. My personal view, the role of teachers has actually increased.
Right.
And it has also become a lot more important because in our institutions, in my view, a little slow to change. The teachers will have to pick that up and say, learning is more important than what is being learned. Because pace at which things are changing, and you mentioned about lifelong learning, sir. Lifelong learning is going to be an aspect of a true student.
Right.
Are we building that in our students today? Are our classrooms and teachers giving that impression of you are going to be a lifelong learner? Are we even prepared for that? That is one, sir. Previous panel said two things. I'm sorry, I'm combining a little thing so that
Sure.
Previous panel said two things. I thought in the interest of time, maybe they didn't get into the detail. One is student well-being.
Mm-hmm.
The question was asked in that saying, are the institution and teachers and the performance appraisal, does it include student well-being as a part of it? To me, increasingly we are getting student-centric, learner-centric, and how is it that we can kind of bring in that student centricity into this? And the other one that they discussed a little fleetingly, which I thought maybe if you think it makes sense, you should give your views on that, is this continuous evaluation bit. One of the learnings when I look up to Indian knowledge system, the guru was constantly watching the student and didn't wait for 1 year and say, past 1 year, this is what has happened to you, and said Similarly, the teachers are also not evaluated like after 1 year, but there is a continuous formative assessment that happened.
Right.
So, do you think such changes are necessary in our evaluation system now?
So, if you look at, as you rightly said, the role of teachers in the entire education system itself, see, India today has 4 important advantages which no other country has. One is the scale of talent that we have. And the second, the diversity of languages that we have, and the diversity of the real world living experiences that we have. And the third advantage that we have is the reform direction provided by the national education policy. And the recent AI summit clearly shows the fourth advantage that we have is at a national level, there is a push to bring in newer technologies into all aspects of our life, and education is no exception. And that's the reason why I think we need to push for some rapid changes in our education system. Number one, when I travel across the country and meet hundreds of students in small groups, it's very clear that our students want to become critical thinkers. They want to challenge the status. They want to challenge the authority. When I say authority, the existing norms, it could be a textbook, it could be theorem, it could be what a teacher told in the classroom. They want to question it. And they want to be risk-take. And they want to be, builders of teams. These are the aspirations of our students. Now, when they walk into the classroom and interact with the teachers, are the teachers giving the right kind of, providing the right kind of learning atmosphere to them to fulfill these aspirations? And that is where I think we need to look at how we need to transform the role of our teachers. You mentioned about the learning. When I was taking my cycle from the parking lot to go home at IIT, one young faculty came and he asked me that, "Sir, I want to become a very good teacher. Can we discuss it?" This was like, I said, you don't try to become a very good teacher. Our role is not to teach, but our role is to create an ecosystem that creates where every student will become the best learner. Now, how will a student become best learner? Because every student is unique. So I told him that let us go back to our roots, what Adi Shankara has said. Adi Shankara said, if any student has to become best learner, the student has to be involved in different kinds of activities. The first thing Adi Shankara said, you have to study. You have to study the nature around you. You have to study the books. You have to study, be observant, be curious. Padanam. And then Mananam. Whatever you study, whatever you observe, you have to keep in your long-term memory. Shintanam. You have to critically think about what you have studied, what you have remembered. And then Sankirtanam. You have to repeat the whole. Now, even the modern cognitive science says that these are the primary elements of any learning process. So, are our teachers designing the learning process to make sure that our students participate in these activities? In fact, the first thing I tell my students every semester when I enter in the first class, that these are the 4 things that we are going to do. Padanam, Mananam, Chintanam, and Sankirtan. And the first minor examination comes and I distribute the answer scripts to the students. And students have different levels of performance. And then I ask them, see, if we decided to follow these 4 steps, which one do you think you have to improve upon so that your performance increases? Student immediately will come up, I studied but I forgot. Somebody says, I studied, I forgot, but then I didn't really think about it. Now you see, this is how teachers have to encourage our students to participate in the learning process. And then there is a shloka which goes back to the Mahabharata times. We don't actually know the origin of this shloka. It says, only 1/4 of education comes from the teacher. And 1/4 of education comes from the critical thinking made by the student. And 1/4 of education comes from peer learning when the students work in teams. And 1/4 of education learning comes over a period of time through experience. Now, we have all these ingredients, and the national education policy actually has captured some of many of these good things which are already prevalent, as you made a reference to our Gurukul. So all that we need to do is understand the spirit of NEP 2020. I also would like to add one thing here. Often we get lost in the mechanical, the structural aspects of the NEP 2020. While the structural aspects of the reform are important for them to work and achieve the objectives that we have set for ourselves, we need to understand closely the spirit of the national education policy. So from that context, I think there are many things that we need to implement from the perspective of the teachers and from the perspective of the students. And when I speak to the vice chancellors, when I tell them during the discussions that all learning should be student-centered, they ask, what is there for teachers? Well, for teachers, this is what is the motivating point, inspiring objective for them. If the teacher is central, if the student is central to the learning process, and if I had to meet their aspirations, then I had to prepare myself enough. I should have deep knowledge of the subject that I am teaching. I should have empathy towards our students, and this is where the well-being of our students comes. Where I can connect myself to the students. It doesn't matter whether I have 10 students or 200 students. In fact, I love teaching large classes, 250 students, 300 students in my classroom. But if you can develop that ability to connect to the students, that my teacher is there if I am in trouble, my teacher is there if I have a difficulty, then that is being empathetic to our students. And the ability to recognize the fact that every student is different and you cannot use one fits all measure to find the real potential of the students. And that is where I think the reforms and assessment that we need to take up to make sure, and very rightly one of you mentioned that in a cricket team, somebody is a good fielder, somebody is a good batsman, somebody is a good bowler. Our students are also like that. So it is high time that we reform our assessment schemes so that we recognize the true potential of our students.
Absolutely, sir. Very well said. So if this is going to be the change that is happening in front of us or is emerging, and hence the need or the role of student and the role of teacher, as you very well articulated, has changed. How do you think the evaluation systems in institutions should keep pace with it? Because normally, and there are so many academicians here, so pardon me in case I'm saying something out of context, the evaluation is usually on two things. One is teaching excellence, second is research and innovation. Willy-nilly, anything that you do fits into these things. And teaching excellence again has a template of sorts as to what is teaching, mostly input parameters, number of hours, and here number of publications. Everything is input parameters. Very rarely we see outcome parameters as a part of it. Most of what you said is all outcome parameters in what you mentioned just. So with your long experience both as an academician, as an institution leader, and then as also as the head of the regulators, what is your advice for the changes that we can bring about in the performance evaluation system? Because like Professor Trivedi rightly said, systems are going to determine the character and how the institutions are going to behave. What could be your advice?
Absolutely. So before I move on to the assessment and the feedback that should be provided to the teachers so that they become outstanding in their profession, let us look at a few parameters at which we need to seriously look at. One, our education institutions should move away from being factories of degrees to institutions which provide certificates to our students which indicate the competencies of the students rather than just the mark sheets, right? the competencies also should have evidence. Because today, if I had to be self-employed or if I had to seize the new opportunities that are coming, if you are the employer, let's say as a student I come and say I have studied AI, and then there is another student who comes and says that I have designed this, I have tested this, I have failed twice, but I have improved this, and this is the evidence. I'm sure you will pick up the second one. And that's the reason why what we need to do in our educational institutions is that instead of giving degrees to them, our students should come out of the educational institutions with a portfolio of activities. It could be a project outcome, it could be a design outcome, it could be an open source contribution, it could be an internship contribution, it could be a community engagement contribution, and a combination of these things. And this is what I call a portfolio of things rather than just a mark sheet. Now, when you go away from just only theoretical study of a subject to experiential learning, through a portfolio of activities that you have, our assessments also have to change. Because today, AI can provide us any kind of answers. We need to move away from just conducting only examinations to continuous assessment, and universities have this autonomy. The UGC already has come up with the guidelines, but I see that many universities are still rooted in the conventional way of testing our students. Why not we have, for example, Viva Voce kind of examinations, a live experiment kind of thing, a team project kind of thing. So you need to introduce it can be a seminar, it could be a project report, right in the beginning of the semester, like we do in IIT system. I am free to decide how I divide these 100 marks, what components of assessment I introduce in the semester. I discuss with our students, well, these are the 4 or 5 components, and this is how I propose to give the weightage. And I take the feedback my students and say, no, can we increase here, can we decrease here, and then we freeze that, and then we continue this assessment. So assessment is something that we need to focus on. And one third important thing, which I said in the beginning, is that the teachers can no longer remain only the transferers of knowledge, the communicators of knowledge. They have to become mentors. If they have to become mentors, you said that the teachers also should have the experiential knowledge. They should also go to the industry. They need to see how real world functions so that they can become appropriate mentors. By simply studying textbooks, I cannot become a mentor. But another very important thing is that today, and this is a very uncomfortable thing for many of us, we have come from this English kind of educational system. And it becomes very difficult for us to actually appreciate also. That is, English has become a gatekeeper in our educational system. A majority of our students, just few days ago I was in Jaipur, and after the program, many teachers and students came and met me. They told me how much difficulty they find once they come from their degree college or school to a university where everywhere it is only English, spoken English, exams are in English. So English has become a gatekeeper. I think we need to take pride in our own Indian languages. We need to conduct even our research, even our higher education in our Indian languages. But of course, the challenge is that we need to have resources, we need to have textbooks, we also need to have training for our teachers, and we need to get rid of this inferiority complex that unless we do research, unless we do our higher education in English, we cannot compete globally. Nobody said that we should not learn English like any other foreign language and develop the ability to communicate. The reason why we need to remove English as a gatekeeper is to actually enhance the learning outcomes. When the student studies in their own mother tongue, it is a proven fact through research globally that the learning outcomes are going to be much higher. So I think some of these things that we need to see. Now, when we introduce many of these things, how do we assess our teachers? If a new PhD holder applies for a faculty position or the existing teachers had to be promoted, we have the current 2018 UGC regulations. And if you see the kind of clerical evaluation that we do for our faculty members using what is known as academic performance indicators. For everything you try to give 0.5 mark, 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, and then you try to evaluate the candidate, either you promote or select. This system is not going to work at all. If you want to attract the best talent into our universities, we must evaluate them holistically. And also, once the faculty members are selected, as rightly mentioned by one of our colleagues during the question-answer session, give enough freedom to them so that they can excel in the things that they can do. It can be teaching, it can be research, it can be book writing, it can be technology development, community outreach, and so on. And that's the reason why we reviewed the 2018 regulations. The draft regulations were widely discussed, where we have given multiple activities to the teachers, 9 or so. You pick up 4 that are close to your heart and try to excel in those 4 activities. And in this draft new regulations, minimum qualifications, we also said that let us get rid of this API. Let the subject experts holistically evaluate the candidates, and then either you promote them or select into the education system. So I think there is more flexibility that needs to be brought into our educational system. And once because we are in a transition period, those regulations are not yet announced, although wide discussions across the country have taken place. And believe me, in every meeting that I had with the vice chancellors, and this I am telling about the openness that our educational leaders have, with the 200, 300 vice chancellors sitting in the audience in different parts of the country, when I mentioned to them that we must have holistic evaluation of our faculty members, we must give them enough freedom to them, we must get rid of API, there was overwhelming support from the heads of the educational institutions. That's also an indication that our educational leaders are open-minded, they are wanting to change, but our regulators also have to change. But fortunately, NEP 2020 nudges everybody to change.
And with VBSA, sir, of which you played a big role, is there anything that will help guide or even mandate that these evaluations will be along the directions that you just said?
So a lot of thought has gone into formulating the VBSA because currently with the multiplicity of the regulators, I know the kind of challenges all of you face as the leaders of the educational system. And 2, our primary goal of regulation is to protect the student interests, to ensure that our institutions perform their social responsibilities. After all, our educational institutions are social institutions, and to ensure that there is transparency in everything that you do, so that there is public confidence in our educational institutions. That is the sole idea of merging UGC, AICTE, and NCTE into one single regulatory architecture, and COA also will become part of it. But COA will continue to be there as a professional body to recognize the architect professionals. So, as part of this VBSA, there are going to be many reforms, and which will provide not only freedom and flexibility to the educational institutions to design, to innovate, to create the educational programs within broader national frameworks, so that our educational institutions will become globally competing, globally known educational institutions.
Sir, thank you so much. See, the conversation was so interesting, even the regular bell that reminds us has not come.
Right, but I think we have only 1 minute.
But what I would do, sir,
Yeah.
I know there will be a lot of questions. Before I would request all of you, because of the interest of time, we are actually running up over time. one or two questions, but make it really, really precise. And we need to use the time that we have of sir. So, but while they are preparing their questions, there one last question from my side. Again, the AI hangover. AI can do tremendous lot change to the evaluation process, which is happening in other sectors. For example, the data points that it can generate on the fly, something that we are struggling to do, evidence-based evaluation and other things, is something that AI can bring in very easily. Easily in the sense it's possible to do it. I'm not saying easy or tough, but it is possible. Right. Second, you can do a bit of trending analysis. You can say something is happening, hence a bit of predictive analysis into it to say that rather than saying so-and-so is going to fail or so-and-so is not going to do well, can we in advance go and tell them that this is the trajectory in which you are going? So can the evaluation be more constrictive, more productive for the faculty rather than a post-facto analysis, and AI could make it possible.
You see, wherever there is a routine process, ultimately AI tools have to be implemented. But however, we also have to be cautious because wherever human empathy is required, human care is required, human judgment is required, no algorithm can solve. So a teacher is a combination of certain tasks that have to be routinely done, but more importantly, the other human components that are inbuilt. Just to give you an example, this AI machine cannot recognize. During COVID period, when I was JNU VC, I was teaching a full-fledged course in IIT, and it was all completely online. The students didn't even come to IIT. They were sitting in different parts of the country and attending the lectures. And one of the BTech students, my course used to have BTech, MTech, PhD students. He attended first class, and then he never turned up. And on the last day when I was conducting the online examination, he turned up. So I asked him, how can I permit you to sit in the exam? He said, sir, please permit me. After the exam, I will explain to you. AI machine would have just denied it because it is driven by an algorithm. I permitted him. After the exam, I had an half an hour long chat with the student, and I came to know that at his such young age, he was infected with TB. And he was running around from hospital to hospital, and then I thought that thank God I permitted him. If I did not permit him, and that was the last course he had to complete in IIT Delhi, he was in final year, and now he is doing very well, and he did very well in spite of the fact that he could not attend. If I went by the attendance rules and if I removed him from, so this is where I think a teacher has to be a combination of you improve your efficiency, use AI tools, but be empathetic and be a good human being, protecting the interests of the students.
Very well said, sir. Very well said. AI, we will use AI where it makes sense, and we will not be mindless in the times of, especially in a very, very subjective kind of, this is very subjective. Performance evaluation, let's face it. I mean, even after 1 decade, 2 decades, a century we discuss this, it will be subjective, and that is where AI has its limitations, I understand. So I know we are completely running out of time, but if there are questions, yes ma'am. I don't know if you have a...
My question is that now Globe is moving towards the more modern way of offering micro-credential over the traditional way of having the degrees. How much we Indians are ready for that? And is we planning something where we can certify, we can validate these kind of culture? Because even the market is demanding these micro-credential expertise to be consumed.
No, I'm very glad to hear that question. The fact that you want to introduce these micro-credentials as part of the degree program. UGC already came up with the guidelines for introducing micro-credentials as part of the degree program. You can actually work with the industry and appoint them as POPs. They can either deliver, online few lectures and physically come to your university and mentor the students. And this is quite a possibility. And please do it. The guidelines are already there. Okay?
If I may add, sir, with your permission, it's happening in a very big way. Government of India introduced Swayam Plus. We were fortunate to work on Swayam Plus program. More than 10 lakh students have enrolled, very active on that, without much of publicity. The Swayam Plus has not spent any money on publicity, and still we have so many people coming. And I'm sure that is permitted, allowed, and happening. Thank you.
In fact, UGC has already approved in collaboration with many industries many courses that are available on the SWAYAM Plus. And the SWAYAM board also has given approval to the universities to conduct the examinations themselves. You don't have to go through the NTA conducted examination.
The only thing is that when it comes to NPTEL or the move where the student has to move to different centers to give the exams, that becomes a little bit chaotic in the mind of students to offer it as an micro.
So please read the SOP which is available on
Now I get an idea.
UGC website. So we have given the approval to the universities to conduct the examinations along with the regular semester exam.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
But the fact that you don't know about it is also a cause of concern for all of us. Please do visit UGC website frequently and know about the new guidelines that are being issued. Okay, right.
Thank you so much. If you want to ask one more question. Thank you, sir, for being here. And Nana, again, is a very good friend for the last many years. And I think it's the first time I'm having him at my campus and we meet at different forums. Thank you, sir, for your insightful, like the way you explain about the policy frameworks and how it goes. Some of it is already being implemented in our institutions. Rather, this approach of one size and doesn't fit all is already being implemented in our schools ecosystem. And I think we spoke about it. And I think one concern as educationists we see is, okay, we talk about globalization, we talk about foreign universities coming in, but there's lots of talk on the level playing field. And I think these foreign universities came in your time and they are accorded a red carpet welcome, and that's well taken. They are more than welcome to come in. But I think as educationists and edupreneurs who are in the scheme of things for last so many years, and we are going to finish our 30 years of existence not finish, but we come to 30 years of our existence here now. So the concern that we get in that in this transformation journey of 30 years, how we as edupreneurs or our families and people who have contributed somehow in this approach of bringing in the best practices from the world, we might not maybe neglect our own, and somehow this approach of like maybe somewhat a differential approach coming in is something that we are all skeptical about, and somewhere maybe some detailed outcome to be seen from this approach of the new guidelines that has come in vis-a-vis maybe the educational institutions who have been doing a great job and they themselves have been doing good work for the society. So how do we really do a balancing? Because the industry is transforming, the whole approach is transforming, industry outlook towards education institutions is changing, and this whole transformation journey that we are all getting into. So how do we really address that? It's something that is a bit of a challenge that we face when we are sitting together, and we have a lot to introspect on, and maybe some thoughts that you have on this.
Right. I think the primary objective behind your question is, as educational institutions, how can we focus on excellence, and do we have sufficient autonomy to do that, right? So this autonomy has to provide a level playing ground to all the educational institutions. So one of the goals of BBSA also is that how to provide level playing ground and how to provide enhanced autonomy to our own educational institutions. And recently, Ministry of Education also has formed a committee, and I am chairman of that committee, to examine this autonomy component of our educational institutions. So soon we will have discussion with the vice chancellors from multiple types of vice chancellors, state, private, deemed to be universities, central university, IITs, and try to understand what is there in their mind. What form of autonomy, in which domains they require autonomy, and then see if we can come up with a framework to provide the level playing ground to all the institutions. So that work is already in progress, and let's work together to achieve that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure, and also, and like somebody said, we were mesmerized by how you could articulate many such things. We could have the whole day, and I'm sure you will have enough. But unfortunately, there is an agenda, and we need to close this session at this point. Thank you so much once again. It's my personal privilege to be here, and good to.
It's an absolute pleasure with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.